Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the screenwriting step-by-step project, episode number 140. My name is Glenn Gers, and I come to you every Monday through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am just coming to you here, let you look over my shoulder, share my screen as I write a script. I want to demystify the screenwriting process, just the process, figuring it out scene by scene, line by line, because a lot of people teach screenwriting, but everyone seems to teach what makes a good script. And you know what makes a really great script? Existing. The number one problem of scripts is that they do not exist. They have not been written because the process of writing it from day to day, from blank page to full page to better page, is not really being taught that much because it's hard to teach. So I am going to show you how I do it. This is not the best process. It's not the professional, real process. It's just a process I worked out for myself in the 25-year career writing movies and TV shows. So I'm just going to walk you through it in case it's helpful to you while you are looking at the blank page and thinking, how do I do this? Take what works for you, get rid of what doesn't. The whole point is every writer does it differently, but what's important is that you figure out a process that works for you. The project is always going to change. You are always going to change, but if you can work out a process that you can always know how to approach the new problem with, you can make it. So that's it. That's what we're here for. Hello, I write. Hello, Larry. Good to see you all. We are going to get right to work cutting because that is what the process is going to be for a while. What we are doing here, I came up with an idea to do this project. I only had a couple of sentences for what this thing was going to be. It was going to be a TV drama pilot. I just knew a little bit about it. And then I let you look over my shoulder. As I figured out the story, I wrote the outline and figured out the shape of it in thought and scenes. Then I wrote the rough draft. Now that rough draft was super rough. Rougher than I usually do, but I just wanted to get it done. I didn't want to have you guys watching months and years of outlining. So now I have to go through. It was a 94-page rough draft for a script that's supposed to end up at 60 pages. So right now I am just going through it and I am... Let me get this down. There we go, down to size. Let's get that right. Okay, so I am just going through scene by scene, line by line, page by page, just cutting. I really am trying not to get into the rewriting so much, just trying to get the clutter out of my brain. Hello, Natasha. Good to see you. Two, clean, more active. Clean up your mess. Cleaning is... Okay, sticking it to the man doesn't really... You know what? This whole thing doesn't really make sense. Sticking to the man suggests fighting the authorities. The serial killer is not the authorities. That was a case of me thinking, well, what is George like? What would he be thinking? And then, but that's just not right. Okay, I have a life that makes sense. See, even when you say it, I have a life that makes sense. It was too much. A life that makes sense, not a gesture. Your whole damn life was gestures. Your whole, I don't need all. See how that works? Your whole damn life was all gestures. All, whole, not right. Okay. See, Now, this is so interesting. Friday, I was working on this speech. I didn't see any of these cuts. Now I come back to it, and gosh darn it, it's just like the cuts just appear to you. This is the most important thing. This is super, super. This is just, you have to go over it and over it and over it. It's better to go over a script 5 times quickly than 1 time perfectly, because there's no such thing as perfect. So therefore, the thing you want to do is keep coming at it from different angles. If you just keep coming at it the same way, if you grind on every little word of this current draft, you're only seeing it from that tunnel vision. We're always tunnel visioned. So the only thing you can do about the fact that any creative act is very tunnel visioned is just do the same thing from different tunnels. That's the game. That's how you get what people call perspective. And they call it that because that's what it is, actually. Anyway, the point is, if you watch the end of the last episode, I was on this speech and I did not see these cuts. And these are just clarity of language cuts, okay? Things like, I have a life that makes sense. Yes, that's true. You can say it both ways, but especially when you're reading it, you just want to be able to steer the mind. You want to be able to steer the reader. Okay. Now, honestly, this I'm going to change eventually because that's not clear. That what she's saying is my life was not a gesture, that your life was a gesture, but that's not clear. I think, actually, I'm moving this. I have a life. I'm not a life that makes sense. I'm not staying here to clean up your mess. See, that makes more sense. What were you thinking calling out a serial killer? Those gestures, George. Now, this actually might go eventually. We are getting interrupted by the doorbell. Okay, so... All right, see, this reads better than it did. Okay. This is not going to read better because this scene doesn't make any sense at all. You know what? This is not the first time we're meeting this character, so I'm not putting him in all caps because... Okay. Hi, Tavana. Yes, I know about Film Courage interview because I was there. I was half of that interview, so I remember actually doing it. I don't like to watch it because the last thing I like to do is watch myself speak. I can't believe I am actually speaking so much on a daily basis to people in public. The reason that I can do that is because I care about the contents of what I'm saying, not me saying it. So great. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, Film Courage. Film Courage changed my whole teaching experience. I had 36 subscribers before Film Courage came on the scene. Film Courage came on the scene. They interviewed me. They put those up there. They've rocked out on that site, and I get tons. And now I have 6,000. So, yay! Thank you, Film Courage, and thank you all of you who have gone here from Film Courage. Okay, So here's the thing. This was an approximation. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a great time. Okay. I grew up in this house. You know what? I think he would say this all at once. There we go. Cutting, cutting, cutting. Sometimes you're just cutting random formatting. I grew up in this house. I was wondering if I could just come in and... Look at that. Sometimes you just cut spaces, cut paragraph breaks, because the thing is, this is all one thing. This is all a description of Carl. So sometimes you break them out, but sometimes you keep them together. N, you have changed your image. Hi, N. Assuming it's the same N and not a different N. Good to see you. Good to see the new you. Okay. I'm sorry. It's not a great time. You know, at the moment, I'm just going to leave this because it's kind of funny that it's just so terrible. Yeah. And if nothing else, it's shorter. Okay. George's personal paper. I'm glad it's the same N. Good to see you. Glad you're here. It is good to have everybody here. Now, if I recall, I'm going to check the outline because I believe I had an intention for this scene. And I just want to see, okay, talking to her office. So the thing is, she blows up at George here. Doorbell interrupts. Well, we just got that, so that's cool. And then, so this is about commitment to a fast return, rejecting feeling. That is the purpose here. Okay, yeah. So, okay, I'm going to get rid of some of this blathering. Look at that. Okay. All right, I'm just reading this, by the way, because I wrote a lot here. Okay, not right is not finding. Excuses not to. So this is the exact opposite of what I wrote is what I'm going to turn this into. I'm going to have people come and box it all up and take it away. Okay, maybe I'll... Okay, this is just unnecessary. Cut, cut, cut. Okay. Does she find this now? This is the question. Probably not. this is not right. Boom. Let's get rid of this. There. At least I've got it down. In my background, yeah, I know they're really loud, especially in the springtime and summer. Sometimes our birds get really rowdy. Not my personal birds, like the birds of my world, the birds of my neighborhood. Kind of nice, though, isn't it? Take over my whole life. Yeah, of course, it's my whole life. Not like, take over my life. It's all. I'm gonna leave that for now. Okay, so, well, that's good. Hey, we're on 87. Yeah, it is nice. Sometimes you just have to enjoy the nice things. Sometimes there's a nice thing, you just take it in. Okay, so we're on 87, which is really good because like when I started, we were on 89, I think. So I've cut down to, like, when I say 80s, when we're on 87, by the way, I don't mean actually on it. What I mean is if you see my little cursor down in the lower, sorry, the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that's where I can tell how many pages I've got. And currently I'm on page 29 of 87. Earlier in this session, I believe I was on page 26 of 89 or something. So the point is I cut 2 pages. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, does she have to hurry to the door? No. Opens the door. Revealing Kyle. Late teens. Plastic locals. I use dashes too often. Dashes are a marvelous thing, but they are not necessary in this case. For instance, in this sentence, I had a dash sort of mentally suggesting a cut, but the truth is, it's, first of all, don't do that. You should mentally suggest a cut, but you shouldn't put improper punctuation to do it. A dash suggests a break off, an interruption, something like that. This is not. Okay, and failing to conceal his desire is just a long ass way of saying. Okay, as Madeline collects her wallet, checks the place out. Curious. I don't love doing that because it's an extra, it's like comma, comma. Um, he shrugs. See, now in this case, yeah, that's better. You don't want to overuse them because then when you do use them, they're good. Oh, look, a whole lot of people have been talking and I haven't even noticed. Hi. Yeah, that's good. And good that it rarely happens. Hello, Maratletoso. Hi, Ida Munch. Hi, Arfung. N knows the time difference. I don't. Although I know that you European folks are like 7-8 hours later, and Hong Kong is like 10 hours earlier. So yeah. People are up at odd times watching this, and I am grateful. Thank you. Okay. Okay. This is the place where that, this is where that, this is, see, this is the place where that, this is one of those things. Like, this is the place where that guy got serial killed. Or this is where that guy got serial killed. You just don't need the place. Boom. Okay. I start at 3 p.m. I don't know what time it is for you. Hi, Thumper. Welcome. Yes, I appreciate you being up till midnight to watch this. Unleashes his eagerness. Good. I wake up at 4 a.m. a lot too. Welcome, Arfung. Welcome, N. Welcome, Thumper, from all your time zones. All right. Look, I am. Do I need this? It's really not necessary. Do we need this? She'd want to know. She can't blame the kid. Yeah, that's right. He could leave. Oops. Okay. It's dead. Now it's awkward. But instead, now it's a bit awkward. Because he could leave. But instead, he was mom, ex-wife. You must be, he doesn't really know what words is that. So that's what that is for. He must be. I'm not, hadn't seen him. Hadn't seen him. It's been 30 years. It's been 30 years. I'm not pissed. Oh, maybe. No. I'm not. It's been 30 years. 30 years. Actually, I like it better if she's just, I'm not. It's like he's trying to like be empathetic, but then it turns out he's like saying, wow, you must be pissed. Oh, she didn't expect that. Oh, you know, this is going to play well. I don't know how it reads on the page to some people, but I know that this is like playable dialogue. Okay. Like when the actors get this, that's actually good. I know good dialogue. What can I tell you? All right. It's just a lot. There we go. No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm not. I don't know what I am. That's the line. See, because this is actually the truth. She is rethinking her soul. Look at this. We even put a little beat because she's like working on it. Hi, Ida Munch. Let's see what you're saying here. Working on my first play script. I'm learning about formatting. Yes, you do use a slightly different play format. To tell you the truth, let's talk about this because this is a thing. I don't actually know standard theater formatting now, but I am sure if you go onto the Google search or any search engine, not just Google, any search engine will do. Theater play format, play script format. I'm sure that there's a bunch. Usually what the difference is actually it depends. I believe that the dialogue blocks are actually bigger, wider, because dialogue is more important in a play, and so I think they actually give some more room to it. Also, these things don't exist. These because you don't change scenes as often in a play as you do in a film, and because they generally they actually have a break. And once again, this depends on the form of your play, but most plays will be in a single setting for a large section of time, unless it's something that's broken up among a bunch of settings, and usually there's quite a big physical description of the place as a big block at the beginning, and then you do not do any describing of the place because it's not changing. Yeah, so the answer is theater script format is different than film script format. You should definitely check it out. I believe in old film, like some of them, they put the dialogue over to the side. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't want to mislead you. However, Scrivener and Celtics or Celtics both have theater formatting. Yeah, I suspect that theater formatting is findable. So I would advise that. I would advise that you don't listen to me because I have not done theater since 1980 something. Actually 70 something. Whoa. So the world was different. There were no computers. I mean, there were computers, but not personal computers. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you thought it made sense. I know the truth. I did not make sense. Okay. I think that's really sucks. This is Kyle. This is more convincing to me. Kyle says, "Yeah, sucks." Yeah. I got to tell you, yeah, I think so. When would you want to use an is or are in the slug line? Please give me an example because I can't imagine it. So it's not like a crime per se, but it's formatting faux pas. Mainly, I just don't understand how you would use it. Natasha, type me a version of that you would do that in, because I can't imagine ever doing it. Congratulations, Britt Ward. Congratulations. That is super cool. Plays, by the way, for those of you who do not know this, writing plays is a really, really good way to learn how to be a good screenwriter, because the importance of character and dialogue, the importance of interactions of people is amplified, and you can very often get people to do the stuff for you. Say, go to a school theater and they might like do a reading of your play just for practice. They don't have to put it on like a big show. Just get together on a stage and read it. You will learn so much if you write a short play, or a long play if you're that type of person. Write a play, get some people to read it out loud, actors, directors, theater people. You will learn superpowers for screenwriting. I urge you to do this. In the action line, yeah. In the action line, you can do it. It's not a crime. You want to avoid it if possible, just because. But I mean, there are times when you definitely do it. Like, honestly, "it's" is actually a contraction for "it is." No, I do some, but try and think about, is there a way to take out the "is" and make it an action? So that is really great, Britt. Congrats. I second and third all of these. Yeah. Yeah. In the action line. I got you now. Let's watch this as I go. Take notes. Take notes. No, I mean note for me if you see I do it or don't do it, because you can do it. I'm just scrolling back. Finds and is sorting. See? Is sorting through George's personal papers. Yeah. I mean, you could say sorts, but sometimes it's sort of a frame of mind. Are you trying to suggest a static situation or an action? The main thing is, don't spend a lot of time on static situations. If the thing you're writing is 85% dialogue, just see if you can find some theater folks to do it, even if it's just in film format. I actually wrote some plays, and always the protagonist is suicide in plays. It's high school. That's disturbing, but worthy of. It's a subject of exploration, and I just say, are you okay? Because if you're not, reach out to people always. I like plays. I think plays are great. I am thrilled that Arfung and En and Britt, all of you, write plays, all of you out there. The other cool thing is, plays, they're just so much more, the stakes are lower and the people are more fun. That's just the truth. Stage actors love to be able, love to do table readings. They just like it. And it's really cool for actors and directors and stuff to put things, to work with a script written by a person, not a published script with somebody you can't talk to. It's so cool for them to be able to talk to the writer, to say, oh, I don't get that part, or that doesn't quite work for me, or I love this, or would you put me in your next play? Whatever, they say all sorts of things. But the main thing is, the actor, the writer, the director, in theater, they get to work together, and they like it. It's a good experience. Even when it's a bad experience, it's a good experience. So, that should be okay. If it's a lot of dialogue, they might work. They might be happy to do it. Likewise, Jeff is right. Radio drama is especially coming back to life. It is actually becoming a big business. And you get a few actors, some recording device, and you can make a show. Please consider this. Okay. Where are we? Now this album title thing, I think I'm going to cut it. I like it. It's not particularly original, and to tell you the truth, it's just taken up too much space. Okay. Arfung. Cool. The script of the suicide won an award, and at that time I thought the protagonist's suicide would win awards. Now, yeah, that's in general. Don't try and win awards. Just try and do the thing that you think would blow your own mind the best. The thing that you're like, oh my God, I would love this. Although, you say it won an award, and so not a bad plan. Okay. What do you do when you write a scene where the character is by themselves? Well, it depends on what they're doing. I just wrote one, actually, where Madeline was talking to a dead man who isn't there. This is a scene. Yeah, here we go. Here's the thing. When you write a scene where the character is by themselves, it kind of depends on what they're doing. Essentially, if you are writing a scene where they're just doing things and they're not talking, just describe what they're doing. Don't over-describe it, but just describe. They have a drink, they look out the window, they sigh, they think about, their relationship, whatever. If they are speaking, you have to decide, are they speaking to themselves? Are they speaking to a person who's not there because it's a way of venting? Like, what's the deal with why are they speaking when they're the only one there? But the answer is, what do you do when you write a scene? You describe what's happening. That's it. Okay. Joni Doe Shadow, who we have not heard from before. Oh, by the way, B. Nidaye, I hope I pronounced that right. Welcome. Haven't heard from you before, so thank you. Joni Doe Shaw, table read with a few theater or D&D friends to help test out dialogue. True. Yes, that is absolutely correct. I vote yes. I don't think this character, no matter what, won't kill himself, so escape. Yes, absolutely. That is valid and good. Hello, Aaron. Glad to see you. Okay. Let us... It's what he was. It's what he was. Chaos. It's what he was like. Chaos. Drugs. You know what? I think we're just going to way cut this down. I'm sorry. He already said sucks. So. And then it's just drugs. Okay. See, now Kyle's getting a voice. The voice is a guy who doesn't speak casually. So, I mean, he does speak casually. So he speaks so casually that he doesn't bother with sentences. He just, drugs. When we were together, yeah. Lots of drugs. We were together, sure. Yeah. I don't know. When we were together, yeah. This just doesn't belong here, but I really like it. I'm going to move this. What I'm going to do is now, I believe, okay. find here. This is when she talks about him here, yeah. Okay. I'm just going to leave this here, and then I am going to go back to Kyle. Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here. People are talking. Oh my goodness. Okay. You pronounce it NDI. NDI. I'm trying to, that sounds like it's short for, like it's like, I don't know. That sounds like an abbreviation for something. Anyway, NDI. Hi. Welcome. Excellent. I am so glad. Aaron, this is great to hear. Whenever I can give somebody a piece of advice that they can actually use in their own work, that is the biggest payoff I can imagine, except for lots and lots of money. Okay. My views on Zoo Stories is an amazing, brilliant, phenomenal play. That's it. You guys should all read it. Zoo Story is a brutally painful, brilliant one-act play by Edward Albee about two guys who meet on a bench in the park, and one of them is sort of straight-laced, and the other one is sort of fallen apart, and the fallen apart one gives this is sort of breaking down, and he gives these long monologues, and he's fascinating, and it's a brilliant. It's just a great play. It's just good. There you go. I can't imagine anyone who doesn't like it, but people don't like everything, so don't worry about that. Anyway, yeah, the caveman speech. Yes, the speeches. It's a great, 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 painful, brilliant play. Okay. And damn hard to act, by the way. So just want to say, I have not done it, but I've seen people do it, and boy. Okay. Character or speaking is to a gravestone. Yes, can be very emotional. Just wrote what he was doing. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I thought it was too. I appreciate that. That is great. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I am not modest or shy. I'm just not. In the subject of a scene with the character by themselves, if she is talking, do you recommend talking alone or voiceover? That is not a decision. I mean, it is a decision of the director eventually, but it's important that you make the decision because it changes what they're doing. The action of the scene is different. If there is a voiceover, first of all, voiceover is completely appropriate if you are going to make it part of the language of the story as a whole. Like, you don't want to just use voiceover in one scene and never use it again because it's weird. It's disconcerting. You are adding a layer of technological communication that you didn't have before. So just like if you decide to do subtitles or like intertitles, like, whatever you're doing, if you're going to do that just once, and it can be done, but generally you don't do that. You use it as like, okay, this guy often talks in his head, and then we hear it. Cool, not a problem. Voiceover is disconcerting if you have not done it otherwise in the story, because the audience is thinking, how come we are hearing this? What's going on? So voiceover is a very specific thing. I've also talked about it in some other places. I think I'll probably talk more about it. Voiceover is workable as long as you are not just explaining things or talking about things that are obvious in other ways. But basically, the point about what you have to decide is, why are they talking and who are they talking to? When somebody speaks in any scene of anything, they are trying to do something. And that's the important thing to think about. What are they trying to do when they speak? When they speak, they're trying to get a feeling off their chest. They're trying to reach out beyond the grave. They are trying to sort out their thoughts. Those are very different actions. Which one is it? You have to know what the scene is about. Yeah, yeah, I like that too. I didn't want to throw it away, so I just put it where it was appropriate. Um, oh gosh, no, no, you definitely don't need characters talking to each other in every scene. Um, there's a movie. Let me just toss this out there. Uh, okay, there's a movie called The Verdict. Um, okay, now The Verdict is a brilliant screenplay. It's a great movie. But it's the script is really really good. And one of the things that's really great about it is there two like all of the tricks of screenwriting are used. There's amazing dialogue exchanges, but there's also these speeches, and these scenes are constructed around speeches. There's courtroom, game playing, but there's also scenes where there's the opening scene he's just playing pinball. Sometimes he's just having a drink or trying to get over a hangover. There's one scene incredibly powerful where he goes into a hospital and he takes some Polaroid pictures and he's thinking, and it's a devastatingly plot changing moment for him because he realizes he can't just be an asshole lawyer. He has to take this case seriously. He doesn't say a word. He just takes pictures and looks at them and thinks. Anyway, I highly, highly recommend The Verdict. It is with Paul Newman, directed by Sidney Lumet, script by David Mamet, based on a novel. It's just one day I may actually do a breakdown of it. The other cool thing about it is that the script is actually available it's wandering around the internet, and you can see the script and you can see how much of it is word for word shot. And then the things that aren't are interesting. There's a couple of scenes that are moved around and some things that are cut down. Anyway, it's really cool. So I would just recommend that. Okay. What do you think about writing broken English like for characters? Yes, the answer is yes. Absolutely. Do it. If you do it to the point that it's not comprehensible, if they can't understand what they're saying, maybe. In which case you might want to do like a translation under it or something just for the actors so that they know what they're doing. But broken English, aside from, I believe, being a band, is absolutely acceptable. Other people have asked about this too, asked about writing in dialect or even an accent. Absolutely. In scripts, you should do that. Yes, anime characters, they monologue. They absolutely. This is the other thing that you should know. There is a standard Hollywood approach to certain things, and then there's actually the world of art, in which there are so many other options. Anime and game and comic books very often have a very, very different style of dialogue and monologue and language. They just do. And it's fine. It works absolutely fine. It's just unfamiliar to Hollywood, which has been in a very, very narrow groove for about 50 years. Okay, so yes, Zeus, back on Zeus Story. Yes, love Edward Albee. The guy's great. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is not bad either. Yes, exactly. Just own it. Oh, that was about me. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yes, I think modesty is tricky, and I don't want to get too much into myself. Weirdly, but I believe that just clarity and honesty and thoughtfulness, they're all valuable. I don't actually know How I Met Your Mother. I've heard good things about it, but I've never actually watched it, or I watched one, but I don't remember it. Anyway. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. I recently discovered I have trouble getting into my characters' heads and understanding their emotions. Do you or chat have any advice for this? Yeah, a lot. The first one I would say is, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but these questions, because what you're going to get to when you ask these questions is, that will steer you into an immediate situation. Emotions are immediate. They're in the moment. Emotions are just moment to moment, and they can be all over the place. But the main thing is that we don't have emotions rationally. We just have them in the moment. They happen because of things that are happening right then and there. This is one of the great insights of Freudian psychiatry. For all its problems, Freud did understand the concept that you don't just have emotions randomly. You have them because of something going on inside. And they're not always clearly visibly connected to the thing that's going on inside. But that person, if you explore it, will have a connection. Anyway, the main thing about emotions is, first of all, almost all of us have all emotions all the time. They're in there. They're just like waiting to be touched, waiting to be set loose. And the thing that I think that you'll find is if you start to think about what would it feel like to be this person in this moment? And not what would it feel like there's a right answer to that. What would it feel like for you? And then if you get practiced at this, you can also start to kind of, well, maybe that emotion, maybe that, like you can try on different ones. It's an engaging process. You should try and practice this. Just think in an exact moment about a specific feeling. Like he's angry about not getting the apple pie. Okay? Angry, hard to do. Angry about not getting the apple pie, you can think about, is he hungry? Is he about to cry out of angry frustration? Is he threatening? You begin to sort of just like grab onto those potential emotions. And so the best thing that I can suggest, the other thing is I really would suggest this book, which is about acting and directing and not about writing and not about psychology. And yet, this might help you. Sorry, let me... There we go. Directing Actors by Judith Weston. There we go. This I recommend for that question. How do you get to emotions? How do you... I would just suggest read that book. You'd be surprised how much it helps with writing and with connecting with characters. It's a really good book. I strongly recommend it for any screenwriter. Okay. We had cinema before we had speech. I cannot say I agree with that. We had speech long before we had cinema. Okay. Okay. Cool. Nice. I hope you get to. Could I break it down? Yes, I could. And I hope to get to that. When I'm done with this, which I may never get. May never get done with this. You can listen. Yes, absolutely. Caribbean people, Jewish American people, everybody's got their way of speaking. Yeah. Absolutely. Every single style of filmmaking has its own language and its own way of conceiving of the art. And it's really great to learn the different ones so that you have them like a toolbox that you can try all the different ways and you can kind of make your own version, sort of mix and match. Okay. Animes using International Monologue. The things I like. Yes, that's absolutely right. I agree. Okay. So yeah, some people do personality types. Whatever works. If you don't understand you, sit down and look for it. This is right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay, hold on. I watched a Taiwanese historical drama. It's mixed with Japanese, Taiwanese, Mandarin in the series. Is it okay to write in 3 languages or of a single screenplay? That is a somewhat obscure problem, which I have never had. But my answer would be sure. If the characters are from different languages and you speak different languages, sure. I personally only speak English, so whenever I have, like, I had to write a historical drama set in biblical times. It was about Moses. It was the first 5 books of the Old Testament Bible. I don't even know what languages they spoke. It doesn't matter. Write it in your language and say they are speaking in the other language. When it comes to production, they'll translate it for you. It's not a problem. But yes, it is fine to have people speaking in different languages if they authentically speak in the different languages as characters. However, it's also okay to not do that and just translate them all. Like in an American war movie, the French people, the German people, the English people, they all speak English. It's fine. There's no rules. Okay. Yes, that's kind of true. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Um, internal. I actually thought either one worked. But yes, in the anime has a whole different approach to storytelling, to story shape, to character. It's well worth checking out some anime to understand the different possibilities. The problem is it's such a vast world, and it's hard to know what are you going to get, what are you going to learn. So just dip your toe in. I personally, anyway, we'll talk another time. Okay. Time to go. We have had a fabulous time. I have enjoyed talking to you all. We even got a couple of pages cut, and so we're doing good. I will see you tomorrow. That's the deal. See you tomorrow. Go write something.